Hello everyone, my name is Diane. I am with the Cranberry Public Library. Welcome to Adults Craft After Dark. Today we are going to make curious bunnies. This bunny looks like it just dived right into that pot, and this is certainly the time of year that's going to happen. What we're going to need to make our curious bunnies all can be found online or at your local craft store. I got my particular materials from Michael's. You could probably get them from Amazon or Walmart as well. But we are going to use a 3-inch terracotta pot. We are going to use a faux fur pom-pom. This is about a 3-inch pom-pom. Some of these, if you have trouble finding them, I've seen them as keychains. So you might look there, maybe be able to detach the chain to make it work. I thought it looked the most like a bunny rabbit. You can get them in various colors as well. We're going to use a 1-inch pom-pom in white for the tail. For this particular bunny, I wanted his feet to match, so we're going to use gray felt for the feet and light pink felt for the toe beans. We are going to use some fake spring flowers. I just have an assortment here, purple, pink, and white. You can use whatever you'd like. We're going to use a paper bag. We're going to wad that up. We're going to put it in the terracotta pot, and that's going to help lift our bunny up out of there a little bit. You could really use whatever you have on hand, styrofoam, cardboard, that kind of thing. We're going to use tacky glue. You can also use hot glue if you prefer. We're going to use a pencil. We're going to use a pair of scissors and a piece of paper. I use this to create the template for the toes and the feet. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to take my pot. I'm going to wad up my paper bag and I'm going to stick it down in the pot like so. And then I'm going to take my bunny rabbit. I'm going to fluff him up a little bit, see how well he's going to look. Kind of, give him a little hairstyle here. And then I'm just going to plop him in the pot. If you wanted to trim it, you could. You give him a little haircut. Don't think that looks too bad. He's a little wild and crazy, but hey, he's a bunny rabbit. Next, we're going to take our gray felt. Now, I have already taken my template, there you go, and cut it out and traced it onto my felt with a marker. I am going to fold that over so that I'm only making one cut and getting 2 feet. And when I cut it out, I'm going to make sure that I cut inside the marker line. That way I don't have any marker on his feet. So let me take a moment to do that. Really, it's just a basic kind of oval shape. I gave it a little bit of a foot arch bend, but if you just did an oval or even a teardrop with a rounded top, that would work just as well. Just something that looks like a basic foot. Bunnies have rather large feet. And get that cut out. And set our gray felt aside. And then trim them up a little bit, make them look a little snazzier. All right, and I have 2 feet. I'll set those aside for a moment. I did the same with the toes and the foot pad, the heel, maybe I guess you would call that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold over my felt so that I can get 2 feet for the price of 1. And I'm going to cut inside the marker line so that I don't have black marks on my bunny feet. This morning I watched 4 bunny rabbits play Chase Me, and I thought, wow, how appropriate for our craft today. It is that time of year. Okay. Felt is sometimes a little difficult with your scissors. You just have to play around with it a little bit. It's pretty forgiving. You can trim and trim. And since it's not very expensive, if you make a mistake, you can always go back and try again. All right, so that's going to be our heels. And then let me get our toe beans out here. I call them toe beans because I have cats, and that's what we call our kitty cat's feet, toe beans. All right. This is a craft you can do with children too. It's not difficult. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. It's also not very expensive. I would say a rough estimate that this craft would cost $4 if you did not get anything on sale or with a coupon. Okay. And one more. Now one thing you can do, this is just an optional thing, but before you started, if you didn't like the color of your terracotta pot, or you wanted it to look a little jazzy, you could always paint it beforehand. If you had some ribbon that you wanted to use to jazz it up a little, you could do that. And this is also something that if you decide to keep your bunny out all summer, because we know bunnies are out all summer, you could change out the flowers, because we're not going to be gluing the flowers in. So you could always put summer flowers in there. You could do fall flowers in there. You don't even have to do flowers. You could do vegetables if you find some fake veggies. Cabbage, carrots. You could even do jelly beans. Whatever you like. That's the fun about arts and crafts. It's just whatever looks good to you, whatever is fun, however you like it to look. Okay, I think I've got our toe beans ready to go. And this is where the tacky glue comes in. We're going to take our feet and we're going to glue with our tacky glue our little foot pads on. And this is where, like I said, if you want to trim them up a little bit, that is a good way to do it. And we are going to glue those foot pads right on its heel. Okay? Tacky glue, I have a love-hate with tacky glue. It works really well. You don't need a lot, because if you use too much, it'll soak through your felt and you'll be able to see it. But sometimes it's just hard to get out of the bottle. But it doesn't take much. Kind of just like tap it on when you glue it. Okay. And we're going to trim that one down just a little. Second foot. We've got our heels ready to go. Now, the toes, you're going to want to put right on the end. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not even in the camera. Right on the end. So we're just going to glue. I did 4. I don't know how many toe beans a bunny rabbit has. I didn't bother to look that up. If you wanted to be accurate, you could do that. I just thought 4 looked cute. You could do 3, you could do 5, whatever you like. Again, your preference. And like I said, this is where tacky glue can be tricky. Okay. 1 toe bean. Now this craft you could also give as gifts. It's kind of cute. You could use it as place marker if you're having a dinner instead of name tags, if anyone still does that. You could even make a whole row of bunnies, put them on your windowsill, run them down the center of your table. Again, whatever you like. The nice thing about this craft too is, other than the feet, we aren't really gluing anything else. So if you get it done and you're like, oh, I really don't like that, or I wish I had done a different color, you can just tear it all apart and start over. That's the nice thing. Okay, like I said, you don't need a lot. And this one toe is a little larger. I guess you could call it his big toe, but I think we're just going to trim that down just a little bit first. All right, last toe. Okay, there we have our bunny feet. Okay, next we are going to decide where we want to put our feet based on how we liked our bunny to look. I kind of like the fuzzy side because it looks like he's just right in there. Now, when I first did this one, I glued his feet to the pom-pom, but his feet stuck out at a really weird angle, and I thought, oh, that just looks weird. So I took them off and I glued them right to the pot itself, and that seemed to work much better and not look quite so strange. You can do it either way, whatever looks good to you. I am, however, going to glue these right to the pot. And again, it does not take much glue. It's just a matter of getting it out of the tube. And when I say not much glue, I mean just a little bit, just dabbing it on just a little bit. All right. Hold that on there for a couple seconds. Grab our other foot. Sometimes with glue, boy, it just sticks right to everything, doesn't it? Okay. Take our other bunny foot. Match it up a little bit, make sure it looks even. Hold that on there, and there you go, bunny feet. Okay, next is the tail. With this one, I thought it looked a little more realistic if the tail was closer to the feet. I guess it's really your preference, whatever looks good. If you want it smack on top, you can do that. I think I'm going to do the same thing though, kind of place the tail closer to the feet. Again, we're just going to glue it right to the pom-pom. You You might need to use a little bit more on this one just because it's pom-pom on pom-pom. Sometimes that is a little trickier to get it to stick. But we are gonna put it right there. And you just want to hold that for maybe count to 10 or 20. Get it in there really good. The nice thing about this fur is you can always adjust the fur, make it look a little more realistic, a little wild and crazy. There we go. There's our bunny. Oops, I got him off-centered. See, that's the nice thing. Now I can just turn him and fix him. There we go. All right. Okay. Lastly, put in your flowers. These look like they might be a little too big. You can always trim them off. You can adjust them however you wish. You can also bend the ends or cut the ends off if it's too tall for how you like it. Just gonna stick my tulip down in there. And get my white flowers. I don't know what those are. Maybe lilies of some sort. Actually, this is the time. This is where it's nice. I'm going to take my bunny back out to get my flowers back in there a little better. And I'm going to take some of these purples, stick those in. Put them in a couple different places. Spread them out a little bit. You know, I'm not a flower arranger, but for those of you with that knack, I'm sure you'll do a better job of this than I do. All right, I'm going to put my bunny back in there, fluff him up a little bit, and I think we're done. There you go. New version, original version, not bad, pretty close. There you go. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the spots below, and I will answer your questions as best I can. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.